This is the Imperium Precon. I couldn't pick it up at my normal game store. They sold out in like the hour. Went down the street, didn't manage to find one. So I was lucky. I was able to get my real copy of Marneus Calgar. This is the Marneus Calgar deck that I played in the gameplay video on the stack that recently came up. We recorded that game a week before the precons came out. And the only way that's possible is if we do the funny thing. And we proxy the decks. So this right here is a 100 card commander deck, while built on a budget, completely fake. Over here, this is an uncut Giora $500 proxy deck. I didn't build it on a whim of inspiration. Giora is a popular commander right now. This is, Legends Matter is kind of fun to do, and we just haven't gotten around to cutting it. Bunch of pieces of paper. It's just a bunch of fake. This is super fake. Super fake. You gotta cut it with like a scissors or something. It's perfectly legal for me to have. Not breaking any laws having that on me. Likewise, this is my Will Lucas EDH deck. I built Will Lucas to play on the Command Tower stream a couple weeks ago. That deck was CMC 2, and I had to take apart a bunch of my other decks in order to actually put it together. This one, while the Will and Lucas are very real, because I bought 3 copies of that secret layer. This Teferi Time Raveler is very not. Oh my god, I did not prepare to do this in any good way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'll just put that there. This Teferi Time Raveler is not. It feels like a real card. And I guess in your definition of real card, like, this is as much a card as a playing card is, right? A poker card, whatever. But there's no stamp on it. Also, that's not a magic card back. My hand is so shaky. I'm not here trying to pass this off as a real Teferi Time Raveler. I'm not here trying to scam whoever about whatever when it comes to a trade or a sell or whatnot. This is for me to be able to have a real feeling playtest deck for Will and Lucas without compromising my real collection. Pretty hard to build a lot of commander decks, especially when you're a commander channel. Just to clarify, the same thing I just did with Marneus Calgar, this is Teferi Time Raveler. This one's real. It's also in a double sleeve, because that's from a funny deck. What's my point? My point is that all those fake versions of the cards I have, perfectly legal. It's fine. It's fine that I have them. No one can stop you. Wizards of the Coast isn't going to stop you. They have terms of service for fan content or whatever baked in there about playtest cards. Playtest cards. The illegal part is when it comes to, say, the art or the mana symbols or the tap symbol. The parts that are identifiably not your IP. You can't pay someone else to help you acquire them. For example, mtgprint.com. That's how we got this PDF together for the Giora decklist, right? And you could go out of your way to make your own decklist on there, make the PDF at the end. But if you then email that PDF off to, say, FedEx, well, that's not good. You're gonna pay FedEx to print someone else's IP. FedEx itself actually has rules against that. FedEx itself will make it so that you are the one only liable if Wizards of the Coast ever decides to throw the ban hammer or the law hammer on you. FedEx also isn't gonna stop you. Just, it's your risk. Likewise, when it comes to, say, the Make Playing Card website, right? If, say, you wanted to, I don't know, this might be a subtweet to a Mr. Kenobi, make a power cube, right? Because you really, really like the idea of having a really fun and exciting cube to play with your friends without having to, one, invest 5 digits USD in order to get the cube together, and then 2, feel like an idiot for taking those 5 digits out of your house, out of the safe, in order to shuffle up with potentially a bunch of strangers at an LGS. You'd rather drop maybe $100, $200, $300 to get that website to print just nice feeling versions of that cube, right? This is a Mox Ruby. It's very obviously not real. This is the same thing as Teferi Time Raveler. And as a matter of fact, I do not have a Mox Ruby to show you, like the Teferi nonsense, because this is very obviously not real. There is no legal version of Mox Ruby that exists that looks like this. That website's not going to stop you. It will stop you if you try to put the magic card back onto the back of any of these cards. That's the important copyright section, the important IP Wizards of the Coast definitely protects. They won't stop you with the rest of it. Like FedEx, they do clarify that you are the one saying you own all this IP, and if anything happens, hey, but they won't stop you. Recently, Sheepwave, magic proxy artist, has a thread of her own just outlining her process of making her high quality proxies. And for some weird reason, there's something happening in the magic world where people are talking about proxies, right? On a personal level, I was very excited when she outlined her list, and besides the corner cutter that I just haven't picked up yet at Joanne's Fabric or whatever, I have all the things that she outlined. I have the printer, I had the sticker paper, I even have the exact paper cutter, fancy paper cutter that she posted in her Twitter thread. I bought it a week ago, a week before she posted the thread. I thought that was funny. This is a sticker. Now, obviously this isn't Magic IP. This is me trying to make custom creature token stuff, right? I don't have to worry about FedEx yelling at me wanting to go print this at their place. But nevertheless, if you're looking to make magic proxies, you might come down to the path of stickers. I obviously didn't stick this one. It takes a while. Maybe there's a faster method. Maybe there's tricks to the trade that I haven't quite learned yet. Maybe it's just a skill issue, I don't know. Most of my new tokens that I'm testing out, I haven't stuck them. Takes time. You're not gonna wanna spend that time on a 540 power cube. I can see the incentive. I agree, in fact. Pleasant Kenobi recently has a video talking about, proxies in general, the Magic 30th anniversary product, and he's the one that mentioned Power Cube playing card website might just pick up. The professor a little bit ago had a video talking about, his relationship with these high quality proxies, though he used less specific verbiage to make that point. And then Sheepwave in particular, I know on her YouTube channel, she has a video talking about the weird nebulous state of proxies and all of this as well. Though at that time, that was with respect not to the making playing cards site, but to the fan sites made as companions to it that were in a lot of legal gray area because they were just a bunch of Google Drives they were taking artists' art, making them into proxies, renders that are compatible with the website against the artist's permission or without even asking them. And it was a whole legal gray thing and no one liked it. The companion got shut down and then it got re-put back up and I don't even know where it's at right now. And I think, if I remember correctly, the big point Sheepwave was making was that you're doing all of this at your risk. Like, at any moment, Wizards of the Coast can just be like, hey, see this? You're going to jail. There's a lot of people that it would have to do that with, though. The whole reason the funny website even got popular in the first place was because of the CEDH community. And even then, there's nothing inherently different between this and this. The core difference being, do you have to pay someone else to help you with it? Generally, yes. Hypothetically, no. And finally, it's kind of been years. I don't think Wizards of the Coast is going to do anything about it. Again, the funny website does not let you upload anything with the magic card back to it. They are not in the business of making counterfeits. They are very explicitly trying to at least follow the letter of the law. No, I don't think Wizards of the Coast is going to do anything about these funny websites. In a weird way, everyone's been doing this for so long. While there's rules, guidance that you need to follow in order to stay on Wizards' good side, I don't think anyone's going to be taken down. There was a recent Twitter exchange between Sheldon and Vince about, the state of proxies and Commander. And one of the things that Sheldon expressed was yeah, these proxy cards, these playtest cards, these gold bordered cards, whatever they are not legal to play in Commander, but we are not going to hunt you down in the middle of a command fest to check your deck and make sure you're following that rule. The sentiment makes sense. There are more important fish to fry. And I think, that's generally what Wizards of the Coast is doing. They are going to be putting their efforts into stopping counterfeiters, and these are not counterfeits. So technically, it's against the rules, but we're not going to enforce it. What's the difference? What's the difference between we're not going to enforce the law and we don't have the law? If Sheldon is sincere in this statement, what is the difference? The difference is clarifying that he's an enforcer, that this is a law, and he does have the right to enforce it. That Wizards of the Coast clarifies that this is a law, this is a rule, and we have the right to enforce it. That's the thing about the fan content policy. That's the thing about potential FedEx prints, the playing cards website prints, any of this. All of it lives in this weird legal gray area that they could at any moment enforce against. They won't right now, but they might. The reminder is that this is on youtube.com. You're watching this video on youtube.com, and the fact that this is Magic the Gathering content is a fact that is at the pleasure of Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. You don't need to go far into, say, the video game world to find examples of companies protecting their IPs to such a strict level that they'll have a takedown notice for anyone that even talks about it. I believe there's a Destiny YouTuber right now that is going through some major legal battles about just just talking about an IP and some legal stuff that they're going through right now. Nintendo in particular is notorious for just being the absolute worst when it comes to fan content on youtube.com, because youtube.com is a monetized platform. Here on the stack, we run ads on this video. I'm running ads over the top of this Magic the Gathering card. Do I have the right? Do I have the legal right to do that? Wizards of the Coast fan content policy says, sure, but the policy can change. They have the right to change, to suddenly enforce, no, you can't have content about Magic the Gathering. Sorry, we're going to protect our IP to that level. Other companies do. You can make the argument that it's not in their business interest to make that decision, but you know, maybe it's not in their business interest to stop me from doing this. Maybe it's not in their business interest to stop me from doing this. Maybe at some point it is. Maybe at some point it is in their business interest to, you know, reprint power. The thing that I want you to take away from this is that you're wrong about proxies. All of you. You watching this video right now. Me, the guy making the video. Sheldon, the guy who runs Commander. Wizards of the Coast. We're all wrong about proxies. Wizards of the Coast, I guess, is the one that gets to pull the trigger on suddenly making this a hellish world for all of us involved, but it's gray and ambiguous on purpose. It's a technical, we won't enforce it ground because they never want to relinquish the right to enforce it. Partly because they have to, because of the way IP laws are set up in the United States. IP is a hellish nightmare world. I kind of don't blame them for that. But you know, what does that mean for the rest of us that need to have a conversation about it? This is an intrinsic part of the Rule Zero conversation, right? Are we going to allow proxies in this particular game? Are we going to allow your $1,000 60 card randomized booster packs, whatever, into this game of Commander? It's this annoying legal gray area that's, by virtue of the 30th anniversary product, we are all forced to contend with. Each of us on an individual level are compelled to have a very public stance one way or the other about proxies in general. Compelled, based on what Sheldon and the rules committee for EDH are doing, to make that opinion consistent on proxies and on gold bordered cards. And inevitably compelled to say something that feels like is gonna piss Wizards off. Your opinion on proxies is either Wizards of the Coast is a bunch of fucking idiots for printing the 30th anniversary product, or it's okay to print this out at your home printer and use that instead. Kind of an either or, with the way gold bordered cards are not legal, with the way these new dual lands are not legal in Commander. We're all forced to have a very precise and clear opinion on a very legally unenforced gray area. And at any point, the legal ambiguity can just recklessly be cleared up if it's in the business interest of Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro. You're wrong about proxies. You'll always be wrong about proxies. I think the best response I saw to any of this was Spice Ace Rack. Spice Ace Rack? It was not Spice 8 Rack, it was Ken Ballman. I have no idea how I mixed that up, besides the fact that they're both tall, dark hair, and auras that are powerful and threatening. That's all I got. Sorry for the mess up. And his opinion on all of this was, I don't give a shit what you play with in front of me. Sharpie, mark, whatever. I'm not going to report it to anyone because I'm not a cop. Having the proxy conversation is stupid because you're always wrong. You're always wrong by design, because you're going to have people, I'm going to cite Sheldon here, but I don't think he's happy to be in this position. But you're going to have people who are in the position where they need to clearly outline that they are cops and they could do something about it. They just choose not to. You're going to always be reminded that any way you go about this, we can get you in trouble for it. And the reminder I guess I want to give you is that this goes all the way up to just talking about it online in general. Again, this is on a YouTube channel that we monetize. They could just, Wizards of the Coast could just decide no more YouTube content about Magic the Gathering except by directly sponsored channels. Other companies do that too. You're always wrong, so don't stress about it. And I would encourage you to adopt Ken's mentality on this. Don't be a cop. Instead, just try to have fun in the game. These play the exact same.